putting down what they want to run in the 40-yard dash, their broad jump, their squat, their bench. Even something like this, explosive as hell. What does that even mean? I don't know, but that means these dudes want to be ridiculously explosive next year, and that means that they need to train explosive in the offseason to be able to get to that point. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Turf Talk. My name is Brett Summers. I am the host of this show, and this is the show that we shoot to help athletes and athletes' parents get them ready for their sports. Today's topic is how do you set huge off-season goals as an athlete? Okay, this is kind of that time of year. It's November 15th right now. We're shooting the show. I don't know when it's dropping, but that's the day we're shooting the show. And that means that a lot of the high school football players and a lot of the college football players, their seasons are coming to an end. And that means that we get to work with them and help them set big goals. That also means right now, like the college baseball team that I'm the strength and conditioning coach for at Bryan Stratton, that means that right now they're in their off season. And when you're in your off season, a lot of times people just kind of haphazardly approach it. They don't really have a game plan. They don't really have a mission. They don't really know what they're aiming for. They just know that it's the off season and they should probably get a little bit better. Now, if you are an athlete or if your son or daughter is an athlete, I want to help you guys help them set targets. Okay? It's really simple. It's not rocket science, but someone needs to do it, and that's what we do here at Topline. My job as a leader is to make sure that my athletes actually get to where they want to be and improve for their game. How do we do that? It's pretty simple. The first thing that we do is we have to think big. Think big. Don't think small. Okay? You have to think about where you want to be. And a lot of times people don't even think about where they're trying to get to. They're more worried about where they're at. They're thinking about the fact that it's November 15th. If you're a baseball player, you should be in college baseball player, you should be thinking about where you're going to be in March, early March, because you're probably going to be in Arizona or Florida or California on your spring trip playing your first few games of the season. If you're a high school football player at this time of year, you need to be thinking about next July, August already, because that's where your head should be. Where do you want to be when the time comes for you to start your season? So you have to think big. Now you have to set targets. You want to set targets like your weight. You want to set targets for your strength levels. You want to set targets for maybe your 40-yard dash, or if you're a baseball player, your 60, or if you want to, a pop time down from catcher to second base. You need to know those things. You need to be able to improve those things. You need to say, I want to improve my hands. I want to improve my feet. I want to improve all of these different skills that you need for your sport. So what do you do after you've thought about it? You've got some ideas down. You've got some things that you want to do. You have to write it down, okay? Now again, it's what we do here at Topline, and I'm going to show you how hard that actually is. This is what it looks like, okay? You'll see a couple of names here. You won't know who these gentlemen are, but this is how we're setting targets. They're setting things down. They're setting targets for their squat numbers. They're putting down their exact vertical that they'd like to have. They're putting down what they want to run in the 40-yard dash, their broad jump, their squat, their bench. Even something like this, explosive as hell. What does that even mean? I don't know, but that means these dudes want to be ridiculously explosive next year, and that means that they need to train explosive in the offseason to be able to get to that point. They want to have their 5-10-5 splits down. They want to be 100% dialed in. They want to be more flexible. They want to have visits to college. They're setting big targets, but you have to write them down. If you don't write them down, they probably won't become real. You won't have a big target. Zach, what's your target right now?
260.
Zoom around here. Not an athlete anymore. What's the target?
Get to 260.
See, now that seems like a fantasy to me. Get to 260 by when?
By the summer.
By what day in summer?
By the end of the school year, June 1st.
By June 1st, 2020, this dude wants to be 260. That's how you set a target. Now that's a real target. Otherwise, it's kind of just a fantasy. Everybody has that, like I'd like to have really long hair. Like what was his name? What was the name of the guy on Laguna Beach back in the day? Oh, don't act like you didn't watch. You remember that? Bobby, what was his name? Justin Bobby. Pop a picture of him up right there. If I could have hair like Justin Bobby, I'd be feeling good. But That's a fantasy because it actually can't happen. It's not a real goal. It's not a real target for me. So you have to make sure you have a real target, something that's big, and then you have to commit to doing that. Do you write your goals down? Do you have your son or daughter write their goals down? Like Britt, when you were playing soccer, did you write your goals down? Probably not, right? Come on, Brittster. We got to write the goals down. After you write the goals down, here's the next important step. Probably the most important step, wouldn't you agree? Commit.
Absolutely.
You have to commit.
Absolutely.
Because you can have the goal, you can have thought about it and wrote it down, but then the real work starts when you commit. When you commit, now you actually have to show up. You actually say, oh, I want to, like I have right now, a lot of the baseball players for the college baseball team I'm coaching, their goal right now is to gain 60, 70, 80 pounds. Realistically, they want to gain like 20 or 30. But they say they want to gain all this weight. They want to be these big monsters. But then every day they come in and I say, fellas, what'd you eat today? Every day I hit them right when they walk through the door. What'd you eat? What'd you drink? And I go, how many meals? Still like 6:37, they go, 2 meals. How many meals do you eat today, Britt?
3.
3? Okay. Britt, not performing for a sport, is your goal to gain 20 or 30 pounds? Is eating more than my college athletes are right now. Fellas, you guys got to step it up. You got to commit. You got to actually execute what you're doing, which is step 4. You got to go do it. You're committed to it. Now you go do it. And when you do it, you get results. That is how you set targets. That is how you plan your off season. You have to know what you want to do and then what it's going to take to get there. If I want to be more explosive, if I want to jump higher, probably means I need a little bit more horsepower. That means I need to be in the squat rack. That means I need to be jumping and throwing and running and sprinting and stretching and foam rolling and lacrosse balling and learning and eating and drinking and sleeping. It's real simple. There's a lot of different things you can do. But you have to commit to it, you have to execute it. So if you have a son or daughter right now who has big goals this offseason, they want to accomplish all these big things, it is your job as a parent to try and encourage them and lead them to being able to do that. Get them a piece of paper, say, here, let's write these things down. It's going to look a little chicken scratchy. There's nothing wrong with that. It becomes real. It starts to get ingrained in your brain. Just that exercise of writing something down over and over. And you know what I would suggest that they do? Write them down every day. Because every day you're going to write them down and then you're going to see those goals and your mind's going to go to work. What could I do? I just put that I wanted to gain all this weight. Brett told me I needed to drink a gallon of water, so I need to go get a gallon jug of water. Because you wrote it down in the morning, you're conscious of it. If you're not conscious of it, you're not going to think about it and it won't become a habit because your mind's not thinking about it. Your mind's thinking about your regular habits, which might be eating 1 meal a day, which might be drinking a soda and 2 water bottles a day, right? If those are your habits, you need to change them and it takes a while to change. And it takes a commitment to change. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of Turf Talk. I know sometimes I come off a little bit harsh on Turf Talk, and that's what we need. Because to be honest, the guys who wrote those goals down are sophomores and juniors in high school, and they're like 6,000 times stronger than the college baseball players that I'm training. And yeah, I hope that you guys are watching this and listening to it. These guys are sophomores and juniors in high school. And guess what they do? They eat, they train, they had the best seasons of their lives. They just ended like the most ridiculous, craziest seasons. It went to my expectations, but initially when they set their goals, I told them those goals aren't big enough last year, and then I made them set bigger targets, and they actually exceeded the bigger targets that we set. That's what happens when you think big, that's what happens when you commit, and that's what happens when you actually do the damn work. So don't just set the goals and think that a pie-in-the-sky goal, fantasy, is going to come true, right? Everyone has, I want to be a millionaire. Be realistic, think bigger, make sure that you set the game plan in motion and execute it, and you and your teammates are all going to be a lot better off because of it. So make sure you guys get in the gym, get ready this offseason. If you're not in here at Top Line, getting on Blake's 7-on-7 football team. If you're not in here strength training, if you're not getting surrounded by people like Professor Gaines back here and the gun man over here, you're really missing out because we got a lot here to offer you guys. And you will get a coach like myself who's going to hold you accountable. And yeah, it'll be hard. But would you want a coach who's soft? There's enough soft people in the world these days, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need your coach to be soft on you either. Hope you guys have an awesome day. If you're a parent, share this with about 80 other parents who need to see this, who know they have a kid, they have a son or daughter who needs to get better, who wants to get better. It needs to be an environment where they can be around the Brittsters and the Blakesters and the Brettsters. It's a lot of stirs in one place. Get in here, share this one. We'll see you guys soon. Follow, like, subscribe, do all that nonsense. We'll catch you guys later.